here is my Pro Tools vocal recording template. This is the same template that I've used for Diddy, for NoCap, all over all my label recording sessions. I love this template, and what I love about it is by the time I'm done working with recording a vocalist, the way this template is set up is that the mix is so good that it pretty much sounds like a finished record once you're done. And to be honest, I've had most records just literally come straight from this. Maybe they had hired a mastering engineer and then called it a day. So yeah, let's break it down. So first I have two instrumental tracks lined up here. Okay, so let me show you the height there. And let's see, time. There we go. Okay. Now what I do is I have these instrumental groups grouped. I have these instrumental tracks grouped together. So when I change the volume of one, it changes the volume of both. I always keep it at -6 decibels by default. That way there is room for headroom once I import the beat. A lot of times producers are making trap beats as loud as they possibly can. So I always leave -6 dB when I import the beat. That way the artist will have some headroom to be able to sing and perform. And then I can add my own master chain at the very end. I have two tracks for my instrumental. I have the normal one, I put it in, and then I have one with the filter. So the reason I do that is sometimes clients like to have this little filter effect. So if I'm running a session, I'll import a track, never drag and drop something in. Let's go to something that was kind of fun. Let's grab like, let's grab, I don't know, yeah, this could be, take that. Perfect. And I'm gonna play off the computer speakers right now. So I hit OK, new track. Now I've created a new track, but what I want to do is drag this up into the instrumentals, and I'll delete the old track that was housing the original one. And the reason I do this is now by default, I can actually move this track around. If you don't want to deal with the highlight the way, you can turn off the instrumental group together. The reason I do it like this is because people really, really love when I have this little filter effect. So if I play it back on the speakers, I could cut this section of the beat, drop it down now. It has the filter effect going on, and I have it set default to the automation lane so I can do little cool sweeps and stuff. And basically this is a great way. People love it when engineers can actually be a little bit more musical and a little bit more creative. Check this out. Adds a lot more excitement to the record. So when I'm engineering session, the first thing I'm going to do is make sure the BPM of the record matches. So what's the BPM of this beat? 125. Perfect. Say cancel. So I'll go up here. If there's not enough screen real estate, you just have to kind of move it over, and I'll type in 125. Perfect. And it looks like the beat is to the grid. A lot of times when, yeah, actually this is a situation here. A lot of times when you import MP3s, it'll have this dead space. So I always make sure get the beat locked in, and then double check and zoom in your work and make sure there's no like dead space in the very beginning. Boom, clean. Cool. And sometimes in sessions, the beat still may be super loud, and I'll just kind of turn the clip gain down to make sure I have enough headroom for the vocalist. All right, so let's get to the interesting parts here. So I have the master channel. We're not going to talk about that yet. I have a click that is deactivated just in case you do want to use it. I rarely use it. And then I have all of my vocal tracks. So let me expand everything here just so we can get a look under the hood. Okay, so here's my rec track. This is where I record all files, everything, absolutely everything. So if I just hit record, then I can be able to sing into this track. And yeah, the benefit of this, if you notice, is it's routed straight to the master. This limits how much latency I'm going to have. That way the artist and the vocalist will hear minimal latency. Then I do all my takes here. So let's say I do one more. I don't like it. I immediately playlist it. Control / try it again. I'm only ever recording into this track. So you can see my playlist will continue to expand and grow as I do so. Then once I'm happy with a take, I will drop it down. And this is the fastest way because this allows me to punch. So I can record. And then I'm happy with that. Cut it, chop it, boom. And I can just start recording. And yeah, I'm an amazing singer. And this is how, though, you can be a mad fast engineer. So I never playlist takes into my things. What I have is 2 tracks for my lead. I keep it simple like that. If I ever need more tracks, I just duplicate. So Option, Shift, and D, and boom, and I have a duplicate. The reason I have a first take, it's just kind of a preference. I have a little bit more reverb going on for the chorus. You might notice I haven't labeled the buses. The whole point of this template is to be really, really modular and like allow creativity for anyone who's using it. So I haven't labeled anything, but if you're curious how I have things set up here, 1, 2, 2 is my short reverb. 3, 4, 4 is my little, if you saw my no cap video, 3, 4, 4 is my H delay ping pong feeding into another reverb. People love that. And then 5 through 6 is a long reverb, and then 7 through 8 is just another delay, but a normal one. This is what I use like for throws and automations. So there you have it. Then I have these 2 lib tracks. I love these. This is one's a telephone effect. Libs number 2 is this really dope preset for CLA vocals for just making cool like Migos sounding type ad-libs. Love it. People go nuts. And I have an instance of Alter Boy. It's currently deactivated, but if you want to throw it in, this thing is fire. Let's open this up and see. I usually just pitch it an octave up and then turn the format down a little bit, and it's a sick vibe. Okay, then you have these funny ones here. You have A, so 4 A's. Okay, all of these are just backing vocals. So if I double myself, la da 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 da. Okay, cool, and I like that. And now I want to do double that. La da 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 da. Then I'll drop that down to A. Now, quick little trick. If you don't want to drop down that far, what I do before I record is I roll that down to the bottom, and then I can just da 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 and drop that. Boom, right there. You know, so these nothing about this template is fixed, which is really nice about it. So delete these. So I have instances of autotune, then A feeds into the A bus, right? I'm kind of old-fashioned, and I've kept everything as buses. If you want to convert these into folders, be my guest. Like, again, this template is for you to start off from. It's not anything final. I encourage you to make better iterations of it, improve it, do whatever the heck you want to do. Make this thing yours, and hit me up when you have cool ideas about how you can improve it. I'm always open. So I have 2 set. Usually what I do in a session is I say my A group for doubles, and then I say my B group for harmonies. And there's extras here too, all the way going. They're currently deactivated to save on time and processing power, but I have everything going from A to E in case you do need more vocals. But to be perfectly honest, I rarely ever use those other channels, and what I tend to do is I'll just duplicate those tracks. And it might be a little bit more of an organizational thing in the future, or it might impact the mix if you're really doing that, but it's very rare, especially in hip hop and R&B, where you have more than 4 groups of backing vocals like that. It's usually doubles, harmonies, lead vocal, and lots of ad-libs. All right, cool. So all these groups, all these vocals besides our recording track feed into the vocal bus, and this is where I do a lot of extra processing. I have my de-essers. I have this really dope EQ setting that just adds some nice brightness, and then some final compression. I have these off on purpose, and I usually will add them if I feel like it. The Radiator is a distortion plugin, but it just kind of glues the vocals. I don't use it all the time, which is why I have it off. I'm trying to always just make sure I'm limiting how much DSP I'm using the computer. Same for CL vocals. I have a really light I tend to keep it really light, simple settings on there. And usually I'll kind of just spread it and add a little bit light reverb right there. And then we're cool. And that's a vocal bus. And that feeds into then the final master track. Okay? Which then I keep all these off until I'm done. But basically it's just a very simple an EQ. This cut and boost is a great way that I cut a little bit from the low end. I boost a little bit at a different part of the low end to kind of make the kick punch some more. We'll actually boost it over there at 100. Yeah, this is a really good sounding master chain, and then some light compression. you'll always want to change it and make changes. So I leave them off, either deactivated or just off. And then lastly, of course, your limiter at the very end. When I'm limiting, I always have my WLM meter, and I always try to target -11 loudness. Again, if you don't have any of these plugins, if things are popping off, you can reach out to me if you're curious about what settings I'm using. I've tried to include alternates to them. And honestly, too, I always just encourage finding your own plugins that you know the best and integrating them into your system and your flow. That should be everything. Oh, and for most important part, for anyone that is an auto-tune user, when I import a track into it, after I do that, the first thing I do then is hit auto key. I figure out the beat key, and I hit, if it's C major, send auto-tune, and then boom, by the touch of one single button, every single auto-tune that is activated then defaults to that key. And this saves so much time. Then once I'm done, I just fold everything up. If you don't know a shortcut, it's Control, Option, and down, up arrow. And there is my Pro Tools template. That's the gist of it. So if you have any questions, if you want to reach out and chat about it, and see some other ways of how I use it, I'm more than happy to help you out with that. So feel free to reach out to me by email or direct message. Thank you.